Hi everyone and welcome back to WARNO. So, as we discussed, we're slowly stepping up the AI to get harder and harder, and one good comment was made by President of Science, I believe, in the comments, who suggested replaying the same thing over and over again, stepping it up as well, which I thought, well, that's partially quite a good idea. So what I've done is, for this second time of stepping up the AI to hard, we will go with hard AI British first and me playing as the 35th again. So basically the same we had in the first game, and just by chance I've actually ended up on the same side of the map, and the AI obviously over there on the same side. So the question is, do we do the same as we did last time and charge center? We know that the AI will try and rush us with foxes and things, so we need to be aware of that. That changes the calculation a little bit perhaps, but we can try and do the same thing again. So, really we want our infantry first, or perhaps even our recon first. Let's do recon. So, really, places we want recon are certainly the center. Now, these are forward deployable recon, so they start really far forward. We're going to tell them to get out up here. And that gives us good eyes on, and then we're going to bring the vehicle back and try and drive it this way. We also probably want some recon over this side. Now, ideally, I'd like them in here, so we'll put them on this road, because I think that's probably going to be the fastest to get there. So we pop this here, and then we hit Y, and we're deploying it in that building, and then we're going to pull that vehicle back to there. Because it is a recon vehicle itself, so it will come in handy. Now, the thing we did last time was we put anti-tank in here, and I think that's still a very good idea. Because my aim is still thinking we'll be a bit more defensive in the center, and then slightly more aggressive at the side. We'll go with the same sort of tactic and just see how it pans out. So, get that to there, and then the vehicle is going to come across into there. In fact, once the vehicle is there, we'll get it to come right to the front here so it can shoot out across. Now, in many ways, I'd love to get some recon into there, but I'm not going to spend the cash on it yet. Maybe it's something we call in afterwards. So, next thing is this here. Now, we called in these guys last time. Now, these guys are very good. They're good anti-tank, good anti-vehicle. Kind of want to bring... I'm umming and ahhing over two. Let's be realistic. Conkers or Metis? Metis probably. So what I want to do with these guys is get them out earlier. So last time we got them out, and then we got shot at from here at the vehicles that came down here, so that wasn't ideal. So we'll try and get them in here this time so they're out of the way. What we could think about doing is what we got in recon. We do have the BRDM2 there, but it's only got machine guns. We could bring in a cheap tank straight away to assist at that side. I mean, the cheapest we've got, though, is quite an expensive tank. I'm inclined to just mainly rely on infantry here. So maybe we bring in... Sapri, it's too close range for Sapri, because if we put the marker down there, you know, you're talking about maximum... Sorry, I don't mean Sapri, I mean Conkers. But they're, you know, 2,000 meters or less than 2,000 meters. From there to that side there, where the hill is, you know, it's 1,500. So we're talking about this kind of range, really. 1,575. And Metis... 1,750. So really, let's bring in another one of these. They're pretty cheap, and they're really effective. But again, we're just going to try and get out here. Obviously, we've got the vehicles to be concerned with, but I think we'll manage. Now, in an ideal world, I would get some infantry into here. I'm not sure if we're going to manage it, but what I will do is... I'm running low on these guys. I really don't want to run too low. I've got plenty of the Metis, though, so let's get a Metis in. And what we'll do is the Metis, and I get that a bit closer to the edge. I realise that I'm sometimes very bad at this. Everyone else is like putting them right at the edge, and all the pros are getting them all properly stacked up, and I just don't care so much. There we go. So we get that in there. So then we can potentially move that up. So we've got a few units coming in here for defense. We need something at this side. I mean, we could just do an SPG 9, I reckon. What's the ranges on this side? Now, maybe not. Maybe we do a Metis there. Right at the edge. And just, again, we're going to get it to come over this way. And just deploy there. And now we need to start thinking about what we're doing at this side. So I reckon we go in hard and fast. We want to try and take this. I'm not going to worry about spending points on command vehicles. I'm just going to go really, really hard and fast. And this time, I really need to be paying attention to this side so I don't lose units. So, this guy is going to try and get to this building and deploy. Now, the idea is that that will provide some defense at this side. I then want to also bring in probably the BMD-2. It's not the best vehicle, but it's better than nothing. It does have cannons and stuff, and what we're going to do with him is pretty similar. We're going to get him to come and sit in here. Obviously, the Foxes are pretty devastating with their cannon, the auto cannon that they get. I'm going to bring in... Oh, those guys aren't forward deployable. That's interesting. Maybe we're not going to bring one of those in. I didn't realize that the machine gun wasn't. I'm just thinking about what we're doing here, really, at the moment. We could push something this way, but I assume they'll come down that road. But we could try and get some Metis in here. Maybe we can try. We can try. I think that might end badly. But if we did manage to get some Metis in there, it would be fantastic. And then we need to think about stuff that's going to push in there. So Spetsnaz are forward deployable, and they will get in those buildings without an issue. So we'll put those slightly further back. I don't mind if they arrive late. I'm concerned about them dying. They are not cheap units. I also want to send in some Sapri. Maybe not that much Sapri. Let's grab those guys, and we're going to tell them to come up here and unload. You know, maybe we put them at the other side and get them to unload here. It's really difficult to say where the AI is going to focus stuff. Maybe we don't. Maybe we fast move them to here and then decide what we're doing with them, just to avoid the risk of them getting destroyed as they come down here. Now, anti-air is the other thing that we don't have anywhere, so we need to start spending some points on that. So, an Igler that is going to come up here to the center and can probably just get in that building with those guys. We're going to have an Igler over this side. And again, I'm just going to deploy them back here, and then we will worry about everything else later. This vehicle is not the best anti-air vehicle, but it's not bad either. And we're going to tell that to charge up to maybe in there. And then at this side, we want Iglers to protect these guys. So I'd actually like them pretty far up front. Not the best anti-air, but better than nothing. And I'd love to get one in that building. It might be famous last words. I might be about to lose everything there. And then probably if I can stick one here and get that to unload in there. Okay, that's left us not enough points for a tank. I really want to bring a tank in at this side. So we ditch that Igler. And we bring in our T-64B, which is going to come in here. And it's going to fast move up to here. And hopefully we're going to push it straight up. Because there's 50 points. Fine, we go with a Gaz. And ideally I want to pop it in here and just get it in here. It's mostly for anti-choppers early game. We'll worry about other stuff later. So we've got 10 points left. It's not enough to spend on anything. We need to think about what we're bringing in first, which is potentially going to be an aircraft. Depending on how many choppers they bring, we do have plenty of choices. We have a reasonably cheap MiG-23. We've got a much more expensive MiG-29. We do have the Su-25, which is obviously really good right now. So we got plenty of options. Let's launch battle and see where we end up. I must remember I can hit pause when I need to, which is up there. Is there a quick key for that? Probably. If there isn't, I should probably try and set one. So, not getting distracted by this side too much, worrying about what's happening here and these units that are pushing up, because we want to secure that town. We're being pretty aggressive. An opponent who's not an AI may or may not realize this and may counter that. It's hard to know. We've got plenty of stuff going all over the map here. We're not seeing any contact yet. I'm expecting big nasty tanks from them. They are the First Armoured. We're going to be relying on missiles until we get our heavy tanks in. And then, you know, our tanks aren't terrible. So, I'm just conscious that I want to move. Right, here we go. Ooh. I wanted to pause. I hit space thinking I would pause, but obviously you don't. So there you go. 2 Hell Arms. Okay. So they have gone aircraft heavy. Now these helicopters, sorry, are anti-tank. So they're not really a threat to all of our infantry. They will be a big threat to our T-64B. So that's... These guys have unloaded. So we've got anti-air in this building. So anti-air is going to engage on them straight away. This I'm going to pull to the side quickly, because I don't want them to engage on that. I'm certainly going to unload those guys just in case. There we go, that's one dead. How are we doing elsewhere? So quickly pause and just have a look. So no contacts anywhere else. We haven't seen anyone on this side because we're not in the same position. We didn't rush to this corner. So they can't shoot us there. We also haven't seen any foxes here, which is interesting. So we should be able to deal with that chopper without any issues. We're going to move these guys over this way. Okay. We're going to move these guys up to here. We're going to bring this tank straight up to here as well. These guys, we're going to get into this building. We're going to get the SPG-9 into here. And we're going to get the Metis into this building. And we're going to get another SPG-9 up here. Okay. Pause and see where we're at. So, we know they've got tanks coming in the center. Fine. We know that they could potentially come around behind our forces from the center here. I'm not sure if the AI is that smart, but a player might be. So we need to make sure this Metis is well positioned to attack stuff coming across there. We also need to make sure that we have potentially a tank or two coming in here, because they've obviously got a few tanks in there. We have lost our AA unit that we brought in. Not the end of the world. We just need to be sensible how we're bringing in our reinforcements. All very reasonable. Green Archer there and a Challenger Mark II. So we need to bring in our Su-25AT. Okay? So Su-25AT straight on the map. We need to kill that Challenger. That Challenger is a big issue. Our tanks aren't bad, but we'll struggle against that at this stage. So we've lost something. Oh, we lost all those because I didn't get them out of the vehicle. That's on me. Did you see how I got distracted there? I got distracted by fanning about over here and dealing with this tank. And I completely forgot about these infantry squads. So I just lost 300 points worth almost of infantry. You know, including the vehicles. So that's bad. I should have told them to unload, and I didn't. So the Challenger killed them all. Now, of course, I'm going to kill that Challenger. I'm going to bring in another Su-25 because I need help with these tanks. I'm going to bring in a logistics vehicle back here. Right, that's dead. I'm going to turn around and try and kill this. These guys are getting badly injured. We need probably some anti-tank here, just in case they come in again. So we've secured a bit of this, but we're not really where we want it to be. If you see what I mean. These guys are injured. Okay, so we're good there. We're going to evac. We're going to evac. We need to bring in some logistics for here as well to repair those guys, and we need to bring in some infantry. So we're going to bring in a couple of squads of Spetsnaz, and we're going to unload them back here. We're going to bring in another tank, probably for the middle. Alright, so they've got something nasty over there, so we're pulling these guys back. We need some recon, so recon coming in as well. These guys also need a rearm, but we can afford that. It's only 10 points. There we go. Oh, we lost our tank to the hell arm. That's completely on me. Our Igla is out of missiles. So I lost a tank because I didn't realize the Igla was out of missiles. Of course, it's no longer firing at that. I should have realized. Igla's great if it's shooting, but if it's not shooting, then you know. This is going to push up to here. So immediately when they came out of that building, they're getting shot at because we don't have enough recon. So I need to get one of these guys up here, Razvedka. They're going to come there and get in that building. So I'm really lacking recon at the minute. So I can't see very well at this side. That hell arm is an issue. I can kill it with one of these guys. I could also potentially bring in another jet to kill it. But there we go. The SU-25 can come in and do the job. They've gone mortars again. I'm not too worried about that. They're currently getting +2 points. We need to also think about command vehicles. It's not the end of the world right now. I'll try and get this into here. Just want that to come across there and not use the roads. Now that should be rearming him. He will now start firing at that helo. This, I'm hoping it stuns it, at least. Yeah, there we go. We got a hit. There's a chieftain there. Okay, so there's a chieftain coming in behind that chopper. So let's change targets. Oh, did we kill that or what? I don't know what happened there. Evac. I don't know if I killed it or not. I did kill it. I didn't even think I got that. But you're going to pull in here. So we've got our Spetsnaz coming in for this. We've got our recon coming in up here as well. This is coming in here. We're going to push it up there. We really need more recon, don't we? So let's have a look. What recon have we got? We got the BRDM2. I think we'll bring one of those in up here. We've got our tank, which is going to come along here now, because I'm a little bit worried about it going straight up. We're pretty secure. I'm worried about vehicles and stuff coming across here. Let's unload these guys. And we're going to try and push these Spetsnaz across here. I'd also like to bring in some Metis. And probably just some standard, maybe one of those as well. And some standard Desert. Centurion there. That's really bad because they're going to be really good against our infantry. That's really bad timing. We're immediately getting mortared as well. These Spetsnaz are going to be in trouble, so we're backing them off. Fine. So we need to think about smoking as well. So let's bring in a couple of Nonas. And we need to bring in a command, I think. It's time to bring in a command. So let's just bring in a command at the back of this point. That gives us 3. It'll push us ahead of them. Oh, well, we killed that. Never mind. Poor SU-25 came in and is no longer needed, so we'll evac that. Let's drive this across here and try and rearm the Spetsnaz that got damaged. Let's push the other Spetsnaz up. These guys are now in a good position. Let's get them in here. Let's unload these. These guys are going to push all the way up here. This one's going to push over to this side. Fine, so we dealt with that pretty effectively. We need to be careful because they've got something in there. Oh, we got a tank at the other side. We should be able to deal with that. We've got plenty of anti-tank there. And almost in range of the Metis. We can probably move the Metis up to there. Let's unload these guys. So they're getting slaughtered. Let's pull them back. We'll bring in... I've got a Warrior Milan coming in. We'll bring in our anti-tank jet again. So they got some armor rifles there, which is less than ideal. We'll get something across here. We want another tank. I'm going to bring in a big tank this time. Or a bigger tank at this side. They're sort of harassing us, but I'm not too fussed about it. We've got some designated BMD back here. We're going to push up this BMD2 to be a little bit of harassment here. We've got a hell arm over there. We do have missiles, but it's out of range. So maybe we start thinking about better AA. So let's bring in Estrella at the back here so we can keep an eye on it. I might swing this jet round and then try and engage on that chopper. So that was unfortunate, but we'll get this over here. It was just a little recon vehicle we lost. Let's bring in another one of these at this side, just so we have some recon there. We can probably bring in a command for here and a infantry command for this point. And we can bring in a standard command for this point. Maybe just to sit in here. Let's get these guys on control 1. We can start bombarding this area with mortars. These in here. Arm rifles there. Spetsnaz can engage them. They're not quite in range for the launcher, so we want to get closer. There we go. Now we're in range for the launcher, which should do lots of damage to them. Let's unload all of these guys. I think we can think about being a bit more aggressive in the center as well. We haven't done anything with these guys yet. So the Conkers can come right into here. And the vehicle, the robot, is going to come to this side. BRDM-2 is going to come up to here. Yeah, that can push up there. We'll probably bring in some more logistics for up here. Where did our big tank end up? It's still coming in. It's very slow. Spetsnaz can move there. That can move up there. All of these guys are now going to move over here as well. So we're mostly in control of this. We're doing some damage to stuff that's coming along this way. We need to bring in more logistics over here because stuff has been damaged and killed. Want those guys pushed forward again. We've got eyes on now. We need some more eyes on in the center perhaps, and we need to think about pushing here. So let's bring in T-64B and another T-64B and probably some infantry sooner or later. We're in firm control of this. We're going to bring in a command and let it out into these buildings at the back. They're still bringing stuff up. We're going to move the Strela across here to engage those hell arms. They're also bringing in a Chinook supply, and we're just going to start mortaring on where they're going to land that. See if we can do some damage. Artillery, we could bring in a couple of pieces of arty now as well, just for harassment. The AI obviously isn't going to push us very hard, but we're going to see if we can push them all the way back and attack this point. There we go. Strela is engaging on stuff, so that's doing a good job. Let's get this in here. Let's get the T-64 pushed up. Command is going to come and unload here. Just time to unload in that building. So we've got plenty of units in here now, so we're going to push these guys up. We're going to push up the anti-air as well. BMD-2 is going to push up to here, or BRDM-2 I should say, for recon. So we now are in control of all these points. We're +7. They've got some units coming around here. Let's grab a couple of squads of these guys. And maybe a squad of... Oh, we don't have any Spetsnaz left because I lost them all. Obviously, that's on me. I can bring in another big tank here. I also need to think about anti-air here, don't I? So we probably need to bring in a Strela here as soon as we can. We're managing at this side. I'm a little bit worried that they keep pushing stuff up here. Maybe infantry-wise we should bring in a designated BMD. See, I'm about to lose. Yeah, I was going to say I'm about to lose. Oh, wow. He's very lucky. Very lucky. Did I lose a jet at some point? I must have done. I didn't even see that go down. I think it was the one I sent at that chopper there. It must have got killed. So they're mortaring this area. We're going to try and move up, though. Get the metis and stuff up here. I would like to get some more... I want one of these at this side. I would like some AA in the center. It's coming up at the back here. And I would like to be a little bit more defensive here. I need some recon infantry, preferably. So we'll try and get one of those in there. Well, +7. They're trying to push stuff down the middle. I've got chieftains coming in now. I'm letting this thing run out of missiles, which is very bad of me. I need some supplies in for all of this area. Our tanks are getting some crossfire on there, though, so that's great. They're doing a good job. We now have these guys in as well, so we can unload them. Normally, you need to be moving these about, but the AI don't really count a battery for some reason. Control 2 for our artillery there. They're firing at us with artillery, I think, there. Not just... Is it just mortars? I think it might just be mortars, actually. If we catch where they're firing from, we will attempt to fire at them. But I think we're in a reasonably good position here. We're well defended. Now we're going to push the center. Okay. So we need to test the water, I guess. Let's bring in another big tank, and let's bring in some infantry. But we need to test the water and see what's going on there. I'm just waiting for the Strela to arrive, and then we'll push. These guys are going to unload here. These guys are just going to stand in defensive position. There's stuff there as well at that side, but we're going to ignore that. We can fire at it. So let's see if we can push across here very slowly. We're going to try and move the Razvedka up as well. We're going to try and move the Metis up with these guys. We're going to try and move that up to there just so we can keep eyes on the center. And Strela's going to come up here as well. They're trying to push stuff around this side, but we should be able to deal with that. Let's move this guy up to there. Maybe we need to think about Sapri there as well, just for extra defense. The intention here is that we're going to keep pushing, so we want to try and push through. Or just keeping an eye out for enemy units. They might have nothing here again. Do you remember last time? They had nothing. So we might be in that position again. We're going to call in our last two of these guys. And we're going to call in probably a couple of these, actually. Because they've got the vehicle with them, which is quite handy. He's out of resources, so we need to bring in a repair truck there. And let's bring in another one here, because these guys aren't using them. Let's unload that there. Let's get the BMD2 right up to this edge. And it doesn't think he's going to come over there. We're pretty secure. I mean, okay, the AA isn't great at this side, but let's be realistic, they're not going to get us. So they're firing their mortars. There we go. So they're in the middle there. So we're just going to hit them with our artillery for the sake of hitting them with our artillery. We're going to push these tanks up. We're just being very pushy about it right now. We're going to push up the Metis to here. Just give them a Q command. Strela's going to push up to here. We are going to move these guys straight up now. And we're going to tell them to unload once they get to here. We're looking okie dokie at the moment. They're still pushing units in and around the place. Oh, that's a big tank. Can we deal with that? Possibly not. Let's bring in our anti-tank. Well, the turret's stuck. That's good. Hang on. If we push this up, we might be able to do some damage to it. We might be able to kill it, actually, without needing the jet in a vulnerable position. So, let's just... Yeah, it's dealt with. So, evac that. They're sending a Chinook right over us. That's a supply Chinook, so that's going to die. These guys... I'm going to push the Metis up to here. Let's unload these guys. This is fine. I'm not seeing any enemies right now, so we can probably just charge into here. Get these guys into there. We're going to bring up some more recon vehicles. And recon in general that we can spread out. Do we have... Yes, we do have those coming in. Chieftain there. Oh, they got units... Oh, we won. They had units around behind us there at the side. I don't know if you saw that. But I lost a lot of units again at the start because I wasn't paying attention or telling units to unload. I just moved some up. So that challenger there, look, it killed all my infantry that I'd sent into that town because they were still in their vehicles and I didn't tell them to unload. That was completely on me. And that was our biggest set of losses, really. The only other big loss was the SU-25 that was killed by the Javelin. But that was because I, A, wasn't paying attention to what it was doing when I should have been, and B, I rounded it back into the enemy zone and didn't keep an eye on it. So, yeah. I shouldn't have made it do a second pass without being 100% sure I was watching it. But let's exit out. Let's have a look at the replay and just see what the AI did. I'm wondering if it did much different to when this was on the easy setting, or very easy. So let's get past the deployment phase. So he put down a lot of hell arms at the start. And a Sultan again. I never saw that Sultan. I wonder if he just parked it at the back again. "28 minutes. How many minutes of that was me deploying? At least 10, I reckon. There you go. Yeah, so over 10 minutes for me to deploy. Let's slow it down to two times, and let's just have a watch. So they went foxes again, but we never encountered them because we didn't go right to that corner. I assume if we had, we would have lost our infantry at that side. There was a fox here, but it came straight round that corner and went down here. Oh no, it didn't. It's gone into the town. These guys were spread out a bit. That one went way over that way. This one came here. So that's what killed my anti-air. But I managed to kill it with a Metis. That Sultan is indeed just going to the back here. I'm not sure why. Obviously it knows that this isn't safe to go into. There was a Sultan there as well. It bought 3 commands right off the bat. And a mortar. There's that Challenger. And here's my units that I didn't tell to unload. So those infantry might have survived if I told them to go in the town and unload. Especially that last one. Definitely would have. So here's my SU-25s coming in and deal with all of these tanks. Which was probably a good shout at the time because the Metis was kind of struggling in the middle here. They got a Sultan in the centre there. I didn't even see that. How was that not in there the whole game? Yeah, they were +5 at that point. What changed? Ah, because I killed the tanks and they had nothing else in the centre. They just immediately pulled back. While I was busy focusing here. Now the British have expensive units. So you tend not to see a huge amount of stuff on the field. But the fact that they spent, you know, over 300 points on commands at the start. And a rifles leader there as well. That's the 4th command. 5th command, there's one there as well. What is the AI doing? Maybe I need to forward this replay to you, Jen. Because an AI surely shouldn't be buying 5 commands right off the bat when they've got other things to worry about. That's really bad. It shouldn't be spending money on commands. It's already bought 3 at the start. Doesn't control anything, and then it bought 2 more commands to sit at the side. They really focused on this side. I could have easily just taken the middle again, and I didn't. I didn't push Dimesh resistance because I was so focused on this side. But I could have easily pushed up here. And you see, that's a skill that from someone like Lathans has, which is that they will push everyone on the map at once, while being able to focus on one side entirely. So yeah, there was nothing there. I could have pushed right up to the end of that zone at any point with all of my vehicles. They posed 0 threat to me. And the fact that, you know, they spent over 500 points on commands. How much are these each? So 125 points, and the vehicle is 30 points, so that's 155 points. Times 2, that's already over 300 points, and the other sultans, and the sultans are, is it just 100, 110? So that's 330, so that's 600. $640 on commands right at the start. Then they start bringing in units after that. But that was a hell of a waste of money on commands. And I lost very little because I was being very careful with my units. You could probably, you know, be a bit more gung-ho. There was a fox all the way over there that never got involved in the fighting. This is the SU-25 I lost because I swung it back around and flew it over this way and I wasn't watching. It had already taken damage, look at that point. I didn't realise it had already taken damage. Now these things are really hard to kill, so I'm really curious what killed it. 1 shot, 2 shots. So it took multiple hits from javelins there. 3 javelins in that area. So yeah, that was my own fault. Speed things up to the final. But yeah, 1, 2, 3 command vehicles there, and there's 2 sat in. Those 5 command vehicles, only 1 of them was doing anything that game, but the AI still had bought extras. And the AI kept bringing in lots of javelins. It's not a bad idea to have an air defense, but I really wasn't focusing on air. Genuinely surprised that it bought so many commands. Because now it's got plenty of units coming in. It's not using them very effectively now, but had it had all these types of units at the start, I probably would have had a harder time pushing at this side. But instead I was met with a couple of choppers and, you know, 330 points worth of commands that they bought right off the bat. Javelin right around the back. Good strategy. As I mentioned before, you know, it's good for catching out aircraft. There's their rifles leader, which was damaged. I didn't even spot that that was a rifles leader. But that must be what got round the back here, and I was confused why it was there. Javelin and a warrior there as well. I mean, the javelins completely make sense to me. That is a really good idea. Called in one there as well. Very good for harassment of jets and choppers that try to come past. Really good. But 5 commands. Yeah, that's a command coming in there. Where is it going? Is he... I mean, it's going to die. It's about to run into all the sappery. Yeah. Don't know why it's buying so many commands. That's weird. Oh well. Hard AI, not really that much harder than the easy AI in the grand scheme of things. Mostly because of what it bought at the start. If it hadn't have bought all of those commands, it probably would have been a bit more of a threat. I guess in fairness, I'm not letting it have one of the best decks in the game, but, you know, it's buying weird stuff. Oh well, thanks for watching everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned, we will do the hardest AI next. I might give it a different deck though, just to see if it performs any better. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.